bring you some breaking news coming in now. And the UK government has announced it will suspend 30 licences to export arms to Israel. The Foreign Secretary says there is a risk some equipment might be used to commit serious violations of international humanitarian law. But David Lammy says his government still supports what he calls Israel's right to self-defence in accordance with international law. Well, joining me now on set is Hassan Barari, Professor of International Affairs at Qatar University. Good to have you with us. So, how significant is this move by the United Kingdom?
It is very important, given the fact that Britain has been supporting Israel from the get-go. The British officials have been talking about Israel's right to self-defense from October 7th. But there's a deception here because there's a huge difference between the right to defend yourself and the genocide that Israel has been doing. So we haven't heard actually from the British government a critique or criticism of what Israel has been doing, genocide, homicide in Gaza. But anyway, I think it's a good step.
We need to put this in context, though. This is a suspension of 30 out of what, some 350 UK licenses to export arms to Israel. So this is a minority of export licenses, right?
It is a tiny portion of that, but the importance of this step is that it's a kind of a reminder to everyone in the international community that there is a need to do something in order to tell the Israelis that they cannot continue the war unchecked and in this way.
How far will it go to actually relieving the UK of any accusations of complicity in allegations of war crimes, genocide, given that what we have been hearing from human rights groups like Human Rights Watch back on November the 6th was a call on the UK, amongst other countries, to cease and suspend military assistance. What we heard from 34 UN experts on February 23rd was a statement that any transfer of weapons or ammunition to Israel to be used in Gaza is likely to violate international humanitarian law.
Absolutely. As I said, it's very important. But at the same time, it is like a very modest concession to these human rights organizations. But the fact that Britain has supported Israel with arms and with also in its diplomatic move in the area. And this has helped Israel to continue the war unchecked. And I think the government of the UK is not really is not going to change about its complicity with the Israelis. The Israelis have been doing this for like 11 months, and now we haven't seen a solid stand on the part of the British government for instance, to place a price tag on what Israel has been doing.
How much of a change in course or policy does this represent for the government of Keir Starmer relative to his predecessors?
It is a marked change, I would say, because the one before that, Rishi Sunak, he was completely pro-Israel and without qualification. But here we have a Labour government. The Labour Party was actually critical of the Conservative from the very beginning. So, I mean, this change is understood in the context of British politics. But the question here, how far will this go? I don't see that this is going too far. I think this is a kind of a token gesture by the British government to probably answer the human rights organizations.
All right, thanks so much for explaining that to us. Hassan Barari from Qatar University.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get latest news from Al Jazeera.